Welcome to The Wedding Edit, a wedding planning podcast for the modern couple. We are your hosts, Kelly and Dana.
Today we have the wonderful and talented Chelsea and Peter from Him and Her Music joining us. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited.
It's our privilege, honestly. So tell us, how did you guys get into the wedding industry?
Well, we've been in the industry for about 6.5 years now, and we kind of fell into it, I would say, a little bit, kind of through some family connections. So Peter's sister is best friends with Jessie from the film room.
Shout out.
Who married Luke John Photography. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for some music, and Peter's sister put our names forward. We were freshly dating and we hadn't done anything like this before, but of course we both love music and we've played together quite a few times, and they trusted us as very young, fresh out of school. And I remember going along to their wedding rehearsal with all of our equipment in tow, and we just looked like such plebs. Really. But yeah, we had the best time. We loved playing at their wedding. They hired us for the full day, which was very ambitious of them. But yeah, we played. Their wedding was at Nepenthe Winery, and Nepenthe actually got us back for Winter Reds Festival
awesome.
A few months later. And someone there who ran a market saw us, and it kind of just snowballed in that sense. And yeah, here we are nearly 7 years later.
That's
full-time
amazing.
job. Yeah.
You're
we love
like,
it.
can I monetize what I love doing?
Exactly.
Yes, I can.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's so
definitely
good.
fell into it. It
Yeah.
snowballed, and now it's my full-time job, and we love it very much.
So good. And you guys are so good at it too.
So what would you guys say is the main benefit of having live music or a DJ at your wedding as opposed to just plugging in a playlist? I mean, sounds like a silly question because we all know what the benefit is, but for our listeners, what would you say is the main benefit?
That's our little cue.
Silent comms over here. I would say that, the DJ and the live musician, they're there with you and they read your crowd and they understand what's happening right then and there, as opposed to a playlist it's already set and
they can feel the room.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And particularly with a live musician, you don't have to stress about the aisle walk. If you go too fast or too slow, they can just simply cut it a little short or extend it, do another chorus or that kind of thing. You just focus on walking down the aisle. You don't have to worry about walking down at 30 seconds and all that kind of stuff.
Or walking down to a certain lyric.
Exactly right.
And I think, that really leads into your wedding day. You should be able to just relax and enjoy the day for what it is, and focusing on, oh, here's my phone. Can you make sure this person plugs it in with the Spotify playlist, or have they got Spotify Premium so the ads don't play? Like all of that type of stuff. You don't have to think about any of that. And particularly with what we do, we like to go beyond just rocking up and playing music, and I like to check in and make sure you're doing okay and be there to provide what you need so that you don't have to worry about it. And again, we'll get into our packages and what that offers, I guess, a little bit later. But
and also, what about song requests? I mean,
so
that's probably something that, guests when they're on the dance floor will
so imagine this, you've chosen to go for a Spotify playlist, and your wedding reception venue doesn't have any mobile reception. So you've had to download the playlist, and you can't make any changes to that because you've chosen the songs in advance and you can't make any requests.
Yeah, and what if it's like a real lull in the playlist because you thought during that time of the night, people won't be dancing yet and you didn't time it correctly.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is getting a bit boring. Like we're ready to dance, but it's still dinner music.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, the live musicians or your DJ, they're professionals and they've done this many, many times before, and they know when the right time to transition into that music is, and they can read the room, and also they bring an energy. DJ or live music, they bring a certain presence and energy, and that really translates onto the dance floor, I think, as well.
Have you ever tried to choose more than, 4 songs that you would actually dance to? Because Doug and I have done this for wedding parties when we're off doing the portraits, and we want the wedding party to dance together to have fun and make it all their photography, make it all fun. And we just it's so hard to choose any. like there's like turn down for what and like I mean that one's kind of, you know, it builds up and then it's got the drop or whatever.
Yeah.
But
do you ask do you ask the couple or wedding party?
Yeah,
Like,
we do.
what's
We
your
normally
favourite
like
song?
yeah. So
What's that song? Fat Man Scoop.
What?
You know that?
heard that.
You might have to sing
You
it
know
for us,
that-
Kelly.
yeah.
If you've got long hair, put your hands.
Oh, yes,
What's that
yeah,
song
yeah.
again? I don't know what it's called,
don't
but
know the
everyone
name,
dances
but
to
yeah,
that song
I
when
know.
that comes on. Even like my mum would.
Do you want to give us a little mix of it?
Me? No, I think Kelly needs
No,
to.
no.
Come on, Kelly.
Oh, you know the song.
I don't know it. That's what I'm asking.
know.
Okay, all right,
I'm a little
I'm
lost.
going to get it on my phone.
I think you need to sing it.
In saying that though, Dana, I will dance to anything. I'm very committed. If I'm
Oh,
a guest
I've
at your
seen
wedding,
you.
if
Yeah.
I am a guest at your wedding, in fact, like hire me as a guest
Yeah.
for your wedding.
Invite us to your
Rent a
wedding.
crowd?
Like,
Yeah.
can I just
Rent a
say
crowd.
we're the best wedding
Yeah.
guests going around.
Yeah.
I am committed to that
Exactly
dance
right.
floor.
Is it this one?
We know how important it is.
I think that's actually going to become a thing.
Yes. What is this called?
Be faithful.
Oh yeah.
Is that? Put your hands up.
I think
song.
what
But
I
you
think
know
what's
what?
good about
I'm
this
showing
song,
my age.
it gives you direct instruction. Put your hands up.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
people are like, okay, you can't really
Yeah.
go too
Or
wrong.
that, put your hands up for Detroit.
But also, let's just say that if you have just a playlist and you're at the time of the night where grandma's on the dance floor and this comes on, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to get
Depends what
down
kind of grandma you
in the sense that she's going to just sit on her seat.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she
oh,
is, yeah.
My grandma would
depending
have
how
danced to
grandma
that.
Depends what kind of grandma you've got.
My grandma wears leopard tights.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right,
So
well,
she'd
right
get
there
down
with-
and dirty to anything.
I think there's a new generation
With a
coming
walker.
through when it comes to how we respond to music, really, because like the Grease mega mix and that kind of generation is like,
Moving on out.
yes, they are, and they're not going to be
Thankfully,
at I mean, they're going to be the great grandparents at a wedding, scowling at like whatever's the new like Skrillex mixed with Flume or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever's like
We're
coming
going to
up.
have like a generation of grandparents that can only do like 15-second dances at a time. Because
Oh, that's so
I
funny.
remember saying to my wedding DJ at like the meeting before my wedding, just please don't play Spice Girls Wannabe. I really don't want that song. He played it
Oh, no.
at our wedding and the dance floor went off.
Really?
And I was like, I remember Joel saying to me, remember how you told him not to play that? And I was really annoyed because I was like, I told him not to play that and he still played
Yeah.
it. But Joel was like, but the dance floor went off. Everyone got up and danced to it and everyone was loving it because everyone was so drunk by that
Yes.
point.
And I think what
So
happens
I've got to trust, you know.
exactly. Trust is so important because your musicians are professionals. And like I said before, they've done it 1,000 times before. They know what works and what doesn't. And yes, there is an element where we want to hear about you and what kind of music you love and your guests because you know your guests better than we do. But then you need to trust that we've got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
We
didn't
know
play
what
any
works.
songs I asked for, but the dance floor went off and everyone was talking about how our wedding dance floor was the best ever.
Because of Wannabe.
But he literally didn't play like any songs I asked for.
That's really okay. That is strange, but you know we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
But do you know what? I think the lesson is a little bit like sometimes if you try to dictate what your musicians play, like down to, you know, I want, not that I
100%.
gave them a whole list. It was just like, I'd love like these 5 songs or something. Obviously he played the important songs like for First Dance and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's an element of just like trust them, tell them the music that you hate. Tell them the style of music you love and then let them work the crowd.
Exactly. And we ask all of those questions because we know how important it is. You know, music is so unique and personal and it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
Yes, there are classics and yes, we know what works and what doesn't, generally speaking, but there's a lot of work that goes into the back end of that as well.
Yeah.
And that's important to consider too.
So what's a piece of advice that you would give to couples when looking at music for their day?
If you want Beyonce in the room, and, you know, those kind of artists.
Beyonce?
We want that energy at our wedding.
Exactly right. I mean, not real life Beyonce, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
if
we're not
you-
quite there yet.
if you're a big fan of those, you know, specific songs and you know every note and that kind of thing,
Every beat.
that's right. A DJ is a great option, but if you want something that's interactive and something that's really going to vibe off the crowd and, keep going if the song's going well or that kind of thing, live music is really great. Not to mention that, for example, in the canapes drinks hour, not only is it kind of background to, the chatter and all that kind of stuff, it's also entertainment. So it's a little like a double purpose. Whereas if you're just playing some background music, it, only serves that one purpose.
Yeah, so I think what Peter is saying is that's a really good piece of advice if you're struggling to choose between a DJ and a band, because that is a question that comes up very, very often. And I definitely agree. If you are that person that knows every run, every beat, you're going to fist bump on that exact moment.
Yeah, and you want the song to be played exactly as it is in the
then
song.
Then get a DJ, because the reality is a band is going to bring their own spin, and that's often really fun and really engaging. But if you want exactly the song, then go for a DJ. My piece of advice would probably be listen to your musician. If you can, try and establish a little bit of an idea of what you do want from a musician. So if you love, not everyone's going to be in this position, but if you love rock, for example, then maybe try and find a musician who you feel can cover that genre. I'm more of an indie vocalist, and I've had to sing some pretty out there things, which we can do. But I'm always like, are you sure?
And you can get a real vibe for that musician by looking at the song list.
Yeah.
That could and should be one of the very early questions that you ask a music supplier, particularly live music, because by looking at their song list, you start to get an idea of like the style that they really do and that they'll cover for you on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're able to get out and see a musician live, that's fantastic. But not everyone's, COVID times as well, not everyone's able to do that all the time. And at least if you can watch them, listen to them on YouTube or on Instagram or something like that, and get an idea of their sound, that's really helpful for us.
And segue.
Yeah, segue, okay.
You can watch all our musicians as well. And I think some people have a hesitation with just watching the videos, but it's usually going to be a very accurate representation of what they're actually going to sound like. We don't use auto-tune or anything like that for our videos, and they're almost always one take. So, you can feel safe watching those videos and being like, that is a good taste of what they're going to bring.
Yeah, I definitely think, listening to a musician in any capacity is advised.
Yeah.
I think once couples do booking with you, they probably would go and just like
definitely
watch all of them, like
definitely
binge. Yeah.
And I love hearing is people will be like, oh, we came out to your gig, or we've booked you. People will be out at a gig and people will come up to us, oh, we've booked you for our wedding. I love that.
Yeah.
More often than not, people have listened to us online, booked it in, and then they come out to gigs and meet with us, and I love that.
That is nice, because you guys would go to a lot of gigs and stuff at wineries and all sorts of different places that people that really do enjoy music would go to, and they would see you there and they would know who you are from your famous reels of dancing and stuff. So
oh yeah.
Yes.
We're not professional dancers.
You need to do more of those reels for anyone listening. You've got to head to their Instagram. We'll talk about where to find Chelsea and Peter. But
that was like our only reel that actually went
really well because it was so good.
It's nothing to do with music.
Yeah, you've got to check out their reels on Instagram. What advice would you give to couples on choosing their key songs, like, the aisle song and the first dance song? And also, just to add to that, how soon should they be letting you guys know about those songs?
Yeah, so we recommend choosing 3 songs for your ceremony. So that's your aisle song when you're walking down the aisle, a song to be played while you sign the papers, and then what we call a recessional song, which a lot of people get confused when we say that, and that's the exit song. So once you've just been pronounced as married, you'll walk back down the aisle, and it's usually a very celebratory, upbeat song. In saying that, though, it can be anything, and Peter will go into that a bit more.
Yeah, so here's where, how I think about choosing the songs. It's about paying attention to memories and moments, and if when you have, when you're engaged, if you have no idea, start paying attention to moments that are special and what the soundtrack is of that moment. And in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to worry so much about the exact lyrics. Like, it doesn't have to feel like it's a song written for you, but I think it's when it can remind you of a special moment, that's what you should look for. And, you know, even if it's just a song that you enjoy, cool, really great.
Yeah, and music is really powerful in that sense, in that it can transport you to moments or memories back in time, and that's what I think is so beautiful about it. And like Peter said, the songs that you choose for your ceremony and your first dance, they don't need to be, you know, typical wedding songs.
Yeah.
They don't need to have certain lyrics. They don't need to be a certain tempo. So it doesn't need to be really slow or really fast. While we recommend that in some cases, it doesn't have to be that. Especially if you're having live music, we can really put our own spin on it. Yeah. For example, if you've chosen a first dance song that's maybe a bit too upbeat, you're wanting to do a slower dance, we can strip it back and do kind of an acoustic cover, and that's the beauty of live music. But yeah, with what Peter was saying, just think about the songs that make you feel special and take you back to those moments. And you might not have those songs when you first get engaged, so start paying attention, and they will come up. And we took so long to choose our wedding songs. I think we were just a bit overwhelmed with all of the choice, and we have a lot of songs that are special to us. And our song that we chose for our signing, the lyrics were just not like stereotypically wedding appropriate whatsoever.
What was the song?
The song was 29 Stratford. That's not
Bon
the full
Iver.
name. By Bon Iver, yeah.
I love Bon Iver.
And we had me too. And
The lyrics are like vague enough that no one really knows what it's
very
about
vague.
anyway. So
But when I looked into them, I was like,
A lot of his songs are like really depressing, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sound
Very
so amazing.
depressing.
yeah.
But it was played live as well.
Yeah.
So that was really special to us. And we have that unique version of that song for us
That's
to
so awesome.
remember. But
What was your aisle song?
our idol song, which I'm so funny, it's Time After Time. And you mentioned that in one of your podcasts. You were like, lol, everyone that has time after time. Ha, ha, ha.
Did we?
We're like just paying out.
And I was
Chelsea
listening
Peter.
and I was like,
Yeah.
You're like, that was me.
But the funny thing is, we've actually never played that for anyone else before.
I don't know if we said that song, did we? Or
Yeah,
was
you
it
definitely
Can't
did.
Help Falling
It
in
really,
Love?
No,
Yeah,
really.
maybe.
Time
Chelsea
After
would
time,
know,
It
yeah.
cut deep.
That would have been a Kelly suggestion, I think.
We had Time After Time. We had the Iron and Wine version, but it was played live. So really we had our own musicians version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't played it before live at a wedding. And I remember when our musician actually sent it to us because we were really stumped. And as soon as we played it, I just got goosebumps. And I remember saying to Peter, that's the song.
Sounds like a different song though when you have like
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Rob was singing at your ceremony. He
Yes.
was amazing.
Amazing. And that's something I would say, Can't Help Falling in Love, we play that a lot.
Yeah.
Very popular
Heaps of
song
couples love
choice.
it, yeah.
It's a beautiful song. And
Yeah.
a lot of people will come to us and say, we love this song, but we love this version of the song.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. We can listen to that version, but please keep in mind that we will base our own version off of that.
Yeah.
So you're not getting this person's version, you're getting Peter and Chelsea's
Well, it's
version.
really hard to do that.
Yeah.
But we always talk about on the podcast here about how people like shouldn't, I guess, copy or like replicate things. They should be doing their own version of it, which is always really good because you don't want to take away how you could be doing it, and you also don't want to have that pressure as well because then there's this big room for mistakes as well, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that would probably be our advice. And in terms of the time frame, to explain our booking process a little bit, once everything's locked in, that could be 12 or more months out. And a lot of the details that we need don't come together until much closer to the wedding.
Yeah.
So we will I will touch base again about 2 to 3 months out from the wedding with a bit of a questionnaire, and we'll get the ball rolling, and then we meet up and we chat about all things music, including your song choices. And by that time, a lot of people will have chosen their songs, but if they haven't, I give suggestions based on the conversations we've had about what type of genres they like and things like that. So around the 2 to 3 month mark, we'll start talking about it, but we don't need them locked in. We like to have them locked in at least 3 weeks before.
Let's say a month.
Let's say a month,
Yeah.
a month
Yeah.
before, just to give everyone time to learn, and keeping in mind that we do several weddings a weekend. So we need to be allowing time to learn all of those songs. But and I'm not sure if we even said that, but we are more than happy to learn new songs for your ceremony or first dance because we recognize that those moments are really unique, and we encourage choosing songs that are unique and special to you. So, yeah.
Guys, tell me the best way to get the dance floor pumping.
Be excited. Be, as a bride or a groom, be on there. And your guests are going to really mirror what you're doing. If you're having a good time, they're going to have a great time as well.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Also, they want to spend time with you. That's why they're there. And if you're on the dance floor, they'll be heading there as well.
What if your moves are really bad?
No one cares.
Do not worry.
Wide birth.
It's about energy, Kelly. It's
about energy.
Totally about your energy.
And I think if you are not afraid to look a little silly, then that really creates the atmosphere, or that safe space where you can just
take your shoes
exactly.
off.
Can I just say, I think the worse the moves, the better the dance floor, because if you've got like the best dancer in the world in the middle of that dance floor, people are going to be like, well, I can't go.
Actually true, yeah. Intimidation.
Also,
Exactly.
can I just say, stop with the circles. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like them.
Isolating one
Because
person.
what happens is everyone's in the
scary.
circle and then no one wants to go in the middle and we just end up with this weird circle.
Oh, do people do that
Yes,
still?
I hate it.
all the time.
And then you get someone in the
People are
middle.
pushing people
What
in
about
the middle.
stop with
Yeah.
taking your pants off?
Yes,
Yes.
agree too. Because that really, it really clears the dance floor.
Yeah, it really
When they
does.
drop
Yeah.
the pants, it's
Yeah.
like just the drunk guys
our
with
most
their pants.
common
Eagle Rock.
please do not play is Eagle Rock for that reason.
Yeah.
I never knew that song involved people
It's a South
taking
Australian
their
thing as well.
Is it? Because
it?
Yeah.
I
Did
didn't
you
know
know
oh my
that.
gosh, we're such bogans
It's like
here.
people
We
coming
really
down from the
are.
Goldie really excited to take their pants off
No,
during
honestly,
a song.
is this a new thing? Because
do that at home.
when
It's
not
I
new.
got married, I don't remember this whole
I think
dropping
it just
your pants
depends
for
on
Eagle
the
Rock.
crowd. Potentially depends on the crowd. So you just have really
It's become
sophisticated
a thing,
friends.
though. Yeah.
It's just strange.
It is very strange.
little bit
yeah.
strange.
It's strange.
It is.
Keep it for the footy
For
club, I
those
say.
listening, though, I mean, with their underwear still on. I mean, I'm assuming.
Yes, it's underwear still on. Yeah.
Oh right, I thought you were
Gee.
I was very confused just then. Yes,
Yeah.
underwear.
Remains.
Please keep
There's
the
no
underwear on.
indecent exposure at these
Yeah.
weddings.
I have to say, it's very awkward as a photographer when you're in the middle of a circle of men with their pants down.
What do you
Well,
photograph in that
I
instance?
know.
I try to focus on faces.
I mean, you're a wedding photographer, not any other type of photographer.
No,
so,
I know. Yeah, that's right.
I've seen so many photos come back in my couples galleries when they share them of guys on the dance floor in their jocks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that got wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Must
but,
be Eagle Rock.
Yeah, exactly. But I would completely agree with Peter. The vibe that you bring, people have always said the best weddings are when the couple just look really happy. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're doing, what kind of a day it's been. It could have been pouring with rain, but if the couple looks happy, then everyone else is happy because that's why they're there. They're there to celebrate you and to celebrate with you. And if dancing is really important to you, if a dance floor is important to you, then you probably enjoy dancing. So get on there yourself. And of course, you can't be on there all night. You get sore feet and you might need to go to the bathroom or you want to talk to people who aren't dancing, and that's totally fine as well. But I think that is probably the best way to get people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And people often ask me how to transition from, formalities into the dance floor. And the most common way is if you're having a first dance, to have your MC invite guests to join you either partway through your dance or just at the end of your first dance.
Yeah.
And that way everyone is on the dance floor for when the band or the DJ transitions into those dance tunes. And that way you're starting on a really high note.
What if they don't have a first dance? What would your advice be?
It's a really tricky one, and it would heavily rely on the MC, I would think.
Yeah. They'd have to probably say, all right, let's get the dance floor going.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a couple of people would get up if they play.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They probably have specific couples, I think, that they would call on that they would
Definitely.
have talked to
Yeah.
earlier, I reckon.
Yeah. I think it's important to have your hype crew. Your
Yeah.
bridal party is really great for that if you
Yeah.
have a bridal party.
Yeah, well, you could, instead of a first dance, you could just be like, all right, bridal party, get
Yeah.
up and, you know.
Yeah. And again, that really, if you have live music or a DJ, you have that person who is a professional and who knows how to transition into the dance floor. And how to keep a dance floor pumping is to have a professional being in charge of it, I would say,
Yeah.
because they can read the
Transitioning
room.
songs is a big
Transitioning
thing.
songs, so important.
Yeah.
All of those 80s songs, which a lot of people love, they all have 10-minute fade outs. They just go on
If you play a
forever.
playlist
Yeah.
and then there's that pause between
Yeah.
songs and
Yeah,
the next
no
one's
one's-
starting and it's like,
Yeah.
what is this song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transitioning songs is so important. Having a DJ or a live musician who looks like they're enjoying themselves and bringing the energy and getting involved, I think that's the best way to keep the dance floor pumping for sure.
Yeah.
We'd love to know what you guys find, like what is the best part of your job?
Yeah, well, for me, it's being able to meet new people and support artists, local artists, that is. And that will make sense maybe when Chelsea explains a little more of what we do. We don't just play at the weddings ourselves.
Yeah, so like I said, our business started as just the two of us and it grew very quickly, much to our surprise, and the demand grew and we were turning away a lot of couples, which was really sad to us, and we didn't want to do that. So we, in 2019, I think it was, we decided to expand and we brought on another acoustic duo to our team.
The wonderful Jess and Vinny.
Yes, shout out
Love
to them.
them.
And it's just continued to expand, and now we have a big team of artists. And so while we still love playing at weddings together, we now also represent a bunch of local talent. We're very, very lucky with the talent that we do have on our team, and we get to represent them and support them, like Peter said, and that's definitely a favourite part of our job. Have you finished with your favourite part?
Yeah, well, that's she's really just adding to it. But, you know, I'm a huge music fan, and when we're not playing a gig, you'll find me at a local gig supporting local live music, and absolutely love that I get to, you know, work alongside these guys and help them, you know, with their original music and that kind of stuff by, you know, being able to support them by sending them out to weddings and other events and stuff like that. So for me, that's a really big part of it and something I really enjoy.
Yeah, so in the past couple of years, our business has really turned into a celebration of live music and what Adelaide has to offer, and there really is a lot. So yeah, we love that opportunity, and I think I love that aspect of our job as well, but I also am just obsessed with weddings, and the fact that I get to be so heavily involved with so many people's special days on a regular basis is such an incredible honour, and that really is probably my favourite part. I love singing, I love performing, I love that I get to do it with my husband, new husband. But yeah, getting to plan with people and be a part of their day and help them with their music choices, which I mean, I may be a bit biased, but I really think that music is such a unique and special part of someone's day. So I love that aspect of our job as well.
Yeah, that's so good. I think it's so great that you guys are providing an opportunity for people that are in the arts to actually make money from doing what they love as well. Like it's not just you guys, but it extends as such. Because I remember we did a wedding recently where the drummer in the band, I said to Doug, oh, that's the drummer from Him and Her. And then I was like, oh, you guys Him and Her? And they're like, no, we're this band. And I was like, what? That's so weird. And then I realized, like, because Doug's like, people in bands are like interchangeable. Like they're all like, they're not just musicians for one thing. They're like a musician like all the time.
They're playing lots of different bands.
Yeah,
exactly. So, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of our musicians are, we would say, or they would say of themselves, session players. Is that right, Peter? Is that so that basically means that they have the ability to step in with many musicians, and they are so incredibly talented. Like I said before, the talent that we have on our team, I am blown away by them constantly. They do work with multiple other people in Adelaide and beyond as well. But also on top of that, everyone on our team, they're just amazing people, and we are really good friends with them. And like Peter said, to be able to support them in their original music is a real passion of ours as well. And to champion them in that is really important to us. And yeah, we just feel like we've got so many new best friends in our team, really, and it's really fun, and we love hanging out with them. And yeah.
Yeah, and you know, with us, you get to choose the vocalist, and some people talk about like, can I see that specific guitarist that you found for this vocalist or whatever?
Yeah.
We, you know, that's part of our job is to know, you know, the music and the music scene. We never put anyone that we don't trust out there, and the people that we put together are so good that they can go with anyone, and you can kind of give them any brief, any song, and they're going to absolutely nail it.
Yeah. As an example, we did a promo shoot recently, and we have a lot of we have a lot of guitarists on our team, for example, and the team that we brought together for the promo shoot, we gave them the songs and they nailed it in the first take, and they hadn't even played.
I find that amazing.
Yeah, they hadn't even played those songs together before and they nailed them, and you can see the videos for yourself on YouTube.
I've always found that amazing about musicians, that how they can just sort of be like, oh, here, you can just give them the set list and you just rock up and they're not even jamming beforehand half the time. I mean, that's like a true professional that can do that.
You have to be really talented, I think, to do that. Like not every musician can do that.
Well, I couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a musician, but playing piano my whole life. But I couldn't. It was classically trained, so it was, for me, it's really hard to just step in and be like, I would be so intimidated to jump in and like, if you said, here, Kelly, these are the songs we're playing today, I'd be like, have a panic attack.
But the other thing to note is that the musicians, though they work with lots of people and often they are playing these songs for the first time together, they're all friends with each other as well. So it's a lot of fun,
so
and
it's
everyone's
a safe space. Like if you
totally
make a mistake,
safe space.
You can,
Oh yeah. No, like
vibes all around.
I
absolutely.
genuinely appreciate what you guys do because when I played a Fringe show a couple of years ago in a 7-piece band, I got a bit of a taste of, playing with a huge number of other musicians and just the appreciation for what they do and how they just turn up and play. And, I had to put hours and hours of practice in, whereas they just rocked up. They're like, oh, what key are we doing this in?
Yeah,
cool, no worries.
But another important thing to note is that they've definitely put those hours in.
Yeah, they probably have.
For sure.
And, there's
That's true.
the popular wedding tunes that have been played at many
Over
other
and
weddings,
over.
and that's why they can rock up and play them, is because they're like,
They've played them before.
Stevie Wonder, we know this, and
It's not like an original song.
So I guess depending, if it were an original song that none of them had ever played before, then it might be different. But with a lot of these songs that they're playing, they're absolute classics, and they're kind of like 101s for wedding musicians and session musicians to just know and nail. So
So it's probably good to mention then too, like just so that couples do know, it's not just them rocking up on the day.
No.
And playing
No,
songs.
I made it sound like that. But
It's loads and loads of hours. Like these guys would be sharpening like their tools all the time. Like they would be practicing and practicing and practicing.
Yeah, they would individually be doing that work.
Yeah.
In no way is it just rocking up on the day.
definitely
We talk
not.
about the set lists, and this is something we'll get into a little bit later, I'm sure, but we talk about the set list for the day long before the day of the wedding. Really, it's up to the vocalist to decide the set list, and they will pass it on to the band.
Yeah.
But the band individually needs to practice all of that.
I suppose the vocalist would be choosing the key because they know what key suits their voice.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter for the musicians. They can play in any key.
they can transpose.
Yeah.
and getting to the point that we talked about, where they're coming and just nailing it, is because they've done it so many times.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And they
because they put in the work.
They weren't born like that.
No.
Oh,
no.
really?
Yeah.
Fresh out of the womb.
That's an image.
Yeah, that's a great graphic to have in my brain.
Cut that out, Doug. Please cut that out.
So guys, tell us about the different packages that are available for couples to book through you guys. For example, if I wanted to get an acoustic for my ceremony but then have a DJ at my reception, if you could just tell us a bit about your packages, that would be amazing.
Yes, so we have a few different packages, and we do pride ourselves on being quite a bespoke service. So like I've said a few times already, we understand that music is really unique to each individual person, and we want to be able to translate that in the music that we provide for the day.
Yeah.
So we have a very, very big team of musicians, and we cover a wide variety of genres, and each of them have an extensive repertoire or song list themselves. So we offer a few different things. I'll talk through them first. So we offer an acoustic soloist, which is one musician, usually either guitar or piano and vocals, an acoustic duo, so that could be piano and vocals or guitar and vocals. And then we go into jazz trio. We've now also started offering a quartet, which is a 4-piece band. Those videos are coming soon, which we're very excited about. And then we go into our bigger party bands. So a 5 all the way up to an 8 or even 9-piece band. When you get up to those bigger bands, you're looking at adding horns.
Yeah, brass instruments.
Yes.
Yes, which is so much fun.
So
They
good.
bring just the most incredible
I love
energy,
it.
especially if you get
Sexy sax man. So
We've got a few of those.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of the tunes that you would like to hear at a wedding do have horn lines and that kind of thing. So, you'd be surprised how much they really do add.
They add so
The
much.
sound is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys had that at your wedding.
We did.
We did.
Which I experienced
We had a sax
firsthand. It was
player.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved it ourselves. So
The dance floor was going off as soon as the band started playing. Everyone
Yeah.
was on the dance floor.
I have
So
some
good.
great videos of you, Kelly.
And I was like completely sober, like early in the pregnancy. So I was like trying to,
so funny.
not think about how bad I looked on the dance floor.
No,
But,
you didn't look
everyone
bad
was
at all. I loved that everyone just got into it. But the band brings such a full sound and
Yeah.
an energy like no other.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got our DJs as well, and they're just as amazing, and we love them. So we offer kind of 3 main packages. So our smallest package is our ceremony and canapes, or that pre-reception time, that package. So that includes live music as guests arrive to the ceremony, during your ceremony for your key songs. We recommend choosing 4 key songs, and then live music during canapes or pre-dinner drinks, or that time between your ceremony and your reception, and that would be the end of that package. And then our next package is a full day package, which is live music and DJ, and that can look like a number of different things. We are very open to customizing our packages, but like I said, it's a full day package, so it covers you from the start of the day all the way until the end, and it has a combination of both live music and DJ. And then our third package, I was like, what number am I up to? Our third package is a live music for the full day. So that could include a combination of acoustic music for your ceremony, a trio for your canapes, which is what we had at our wedding, and then a band of any size for your reception. We're also talking about adding this bigger 4th package, which we haven't quite come up with a name.
Here's the name. So you're obsessed with live music.
Yeah, that's the name for the package. So
That's a good one.
not
I like
even
that.
live, not even
Yeah.
live,
Not even live,
because
sorry.
you're obsessed with music. So, which we are, and we kind of came up with this package because it's what we did for our own wedding, and we loved it so much. And we're finding that more and more people seem to be interested in it too. So that is acoustic music for your ceremony, a trio or a quartet, or potentially acoustic if you would like to continue that for canapes, a band for your reception, and then a DJ to fill in the band's set breaks. So what that means is, of course, a band does need to take a break during the dance floor.
Yeah.
And while we do our best to fill that in with like a Spotify dance playlist if there's no DJ present,
Yeah.
we've come up with this package that also includes a DJ to fill in that moment as well.
That's awesome.
Which you had at your
We
wedding.
had
Yes.
that.
And it was amazing.
And we
Yes.
loved it. And the reason we loved it is because like I've said, the band brings such an incredible energy, and we spoke to the band about what kind of songs we'd love to hear, and they nailed it. But of course, the DJ was able to play genres which perhaps a live band can't play necessarily, or they can, but not quite
Bit more
the same.
dance style.
Yeah.
It's, like what we were saying before, how, you've got the Spotify playlist, that, a band does need a break, and having a DJ and a band means you get the entire time an attentive person dedicated to nailing your dance floor.
Yeah,
you
and
get
they can read like where the dance floor's up to when
Yeah.
the band breaks,
Yeah.
so they can just cut
Exactly.
Yeah.
straight in with
Yeah.
the right music.
Yeah. And we noticed at our own wedding that we had a band and a DJ, and that there were some people who just really loved what the DJ did, and that pulled them in for the dance floor. And then when the band came back up for their next set, their last set, everyone was on the dance floor again. And that was, we absolutely loved that. And you just get the best of all worlds with that package.
Yeah.
Can some people book like if their their budget doesn't go as far as booking that package, could they just book the band and DJ package just for the reception
Yeah, absolutely.
as well? Like, is it customizable?
Yeah, so our packages are very much a guide, and we try and recommend our full day packages where possible, because it means you've got one person there covering everything from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it saves having to communicate with multiple suppliers, having to go through the same questions over and over. You've just got that one person there looking after all of it. But of course, everything is customizable. And like I said, we've got a huge team. So for our full day packages, you might really want a trio for your ceremony as well, and that's totally an option as well. And that is something that we can definitely talk about. So something that I've been doing more and more is actually offering a phone call. So you can book a phone call with us on our Instagram and on
Link in bio.
on our website, and that is a phone call that we can have before you book anything in. And I think that that's actually really helpful because there are so many possibilities. We don't really just have one thing that suits everyone, especially those people that are totally obsessed with music and that's one of their top 3 priorities. I remember you guys talking about in one of your first podcasts establishing those priorities. So if you've established that music is one of those things, I think a phone call is definitely important where we can talk about all of the options and I can put together a few different quotes and talk about what that will look like. So very, very bespoke is what we're trying to be, as bespoke as possible because it's a unique part of your day.
We customize, but we don't discount. Sorry.
Very good. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys, it's so valuable what you guys do. I think that last package sounds like somebody that would want their own personal music festival.
That's
for
what
their
our wedding, our wedding, was a wedding turned music festival, I would say,
So
which
good.
is very in keeping with Peter
so entertaining.
in particular.
Yeah. Well, there's like Pete Fest as well.
Yes,
Shout out to
shout
Pete
out.
Fest.
So hoping that might come up.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, we're musicians. It was one of maybe our number one thing, or it was definitely in our top 3 that was most important to us. And we treated it as such. And we recognize that it's not in the top 3 for everyone, but it's still important to people.
Yeah.
And we have options for that too.
Yeah.
So,
So on that note, what should couples expect to pay for music at their wedding? And I know there's so many variables, but even just a range, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't have a clue what they could expect to pay for, like a soloist, a duo, a trio, right up to a band.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say our price ranges from $1,000 to $8,000, and that would cover all of those packages that we just spoke about.
Yeah.
Do you want to take over?
I've got nothing to say.
Nothing
Sorry.
to say. Okay. Well,
You're like, here's my Venmo, just send me the money. No.
so for some people, like I said, they've established that music's maybe not their top priority, but it's still important to them. And maybe they don't have that budget for that big package, and that's totally okay.
So let's just say I come to you and I'm like, I've only got a budget of maybe $1,500, $2,000. What could I get for that?
Yeah, so you're looking at our ceremony and canapes package in that price range with a couple of hours extension. So you can always extend any of our packages. Say, for example, a lot of people like to have extended canapes. If the weather's really beautiful, if they're getting married in summer, they like to keep people outside for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So that kind of price range would look at getting you an acoustic duo for ceremony and canapes with a couple of extra hours on the end.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that
then
would
what
carry-
about an 8-piece band? Like, is that, I mean, you've got to pay 8 musicians. That's
Exactly. And I think that's something that people don't necessarily consider, that when you're getting an 8-piece band in, you're paying 8 people. And
it's the travel as well. It's the
it's
time.
travel, it's the setup. And
The
I
setup
think people
time packed down.
maybe don't realize that setup for an 8-piece band could take 2 hours at least. And then pack up, we're the last ones to leave that venue if we're there until the end of the night. So that's a really important consideration to keep in mind. And another thing I will say is that we don't just rock up on the day and play music.
Yeah.
We consider ourselves a premium service for the reason that we do a lot of communication prior to the day. And that's where I come in. It doesn't matter who you book. I do all of the planning with you. And like I said before, that's one of my favorite parts. And there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of practice and rehearsal, especially if you've chosen specific songs that you want people to learn. They'll be doing that prior to the day as well. So that's all a consideration in the cost.
Making it really
as well.
personalised.
Yeah, exactly.
So how soon should couples book their music?
ASAP.
As soon as possible. No, if
That's
you,
what every supplier says.
I mean, if it's really important to you, you're more than likely to have someone or some sound already in mind. newsflash, there's going to be someone that also has that in mind, and they might be getting married on the same day. So
especially in peak season.
Yeah.
that's
So
right.
if it's a peak season wedding, talking September to April.
I thought you said peak season. If I'm sorry.
Peak, yeah.
Peak
Every
season.
peak fest, peak season.
It's peak season all the time.
Ready to go.
I mean, would you say book at least 12 months out or?
Yeah, look, this is an interesting question because, definitely if you have a specific idea of what you want, then get in touch with that supplier. And this goes for any supplier. Get in touch with them as soon as possible, at least 12 months out, definitely. But with what we do have a big team, and we have increased our team to be able to meet that demand as well. And so we are able to help out. If you're getting married in a month and you're like, oh my gosh, music is really important and we haven't even thought about it, then we can still help. And that's the whole idea, that we're in that position to be able to help really last minute as well. But if you have a specific idea of what you want, or you want this, you've listened to all of our artists and you want this person, then
book it further out.
because there's every chance they won't be available. So I think as soon as you know what you want, get in touch. And another thing I will say as well, we get, and this happens with a lot of suppliers, of course, people get in touch to find out their pricing and they sit on it for a while. And unfortunately, people are likely to get booked in that time.
Yeah.
And that happens to us so often, and it's devastating when they come back and we
Yeah,
can't
well, you've got to juggle
help.
so many,
My brain is constantly, it's a lot.
And I guess you can't, I guess you as a couple, booking, you can't expect suppliers to just hold your date endlessly, because we can't physically keep track of it.
No, that's right. I can't. A lot of the time, I think I have a pretty good memory, but a lot of the time people will be like, I contacted you 8 months ago, and I'm like, okay.
Someone once said to me, can you let me know if you do start to get bookings on that weekend? And I was like, that weekend in 8 months? I don't think I'm going to be able to remember that. I'm not going to remember this conversation next week.
Yeah.
But, so it's hard. You can't rely on us to kind of hold that for you.
I think it's definitely okay to go out there and get an idea of pricing. But as soon as you know what you're wanting to do, I would say book.
Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in.
Okay, I've got probably my favourite question of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What is your most embarrassing moment at a wedding?
This one happened to me. And
we had to really think about this, to be honest, because we've had some pretty cruisy weddings. We haven't had too many terrible situations.
no, but this one was self-inflicted. It was at a
It's
kind
actually
of
not really related to weddings that much.
Yeah, it was at a wedding. That's about, it was at one of those DIY weddings, and I just really needed a break. And the only place to really do that was the toilet.
The Portaloo.
Portaloo. So I just sat on the toilet, seat down, just on my
up.
phone, pants up.
Oh, so you just needed an
I see a
actual
little-
break,
Okay,
but there was
especially-
nowhere.
Yeah.
Just a bit of me time.
Especially
go.
as performers, your set break, you don't want to talk to people. You just want to sit and relax. And I think in this, often we'll sit in our car if we really need a break.
Yeah.
And this particular instance, our car was in full view or full sun.
So you didn't want to be,
Peter went off to the toilet, pants
and,
up, seat down.
Unfortunately, I forgot to lock the door. So someone came in and he was like, oh, sorry. But then he realized, wait, he has his pants on. And, and I was sort of I almost would have preferred, it would have been easier to explain if I was actually going to the toilet. But now I'm sort of now
This is awkward.
This weirdo is just literally sitting on the toilet, fully clothed. So
Isn't it worse if you did have your pants down? It's almost
yeah, it's harder to explain what I was doing. There,
Did he literally stop and look at you
yeah, it was
this
sort of
is
sorry.
weird.
Oh,
You're okay, I don't need to shut the door. I'll just keep it open for everyone to see.
I think when things like that happen to us, it's just even more embarrassing because then we have to get up in front of everyone and everyone's like, oh, that's the guy that was sitting on the toilet.
That's the weirdo that was
He was
hanging
in
out
there
the
for half
toilet.
an hour just with his pants up.
I mean, that's the thing with Portaloos is people are waiting. You can't be sitting in there on your phone for
selfish
ages.
move by me.
Were you
Yeah.
at that wedding?
Oh, yeah, I was at
and
that
so
wedding.
Did you see this happen?
No, he came out. He was. I have another embarrassing story, but it may need approval from Peter.
No.
That's right. If you tell it, if
okay,
you want us
do you
to
know
cut it.
Is it about Peter and you're just going to tell us
I might
about
be able to share one actually as well.
Wait,
yeah.
Okay.
wait, can I?
Yeah.
Well, it's about me. So
Is it the
Yeah,
shirt
yeah,
one.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I have to say.
Okay,
I
sure.
just
All right.
remembered this. So
Apparently they're all about me.
Katie, you're very embarrassing.
I know. I actually would have thought Chelsea would have more embarrassing moments than
Yeah.
you for some reason,
No.
but it's funny.
we'll come back to Peter's in a second, but this isn't really embarrassing, but I have had a couple of instances where a fly has gone down my throat
Oh,
mid
gross. That's
song.
awful. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there was actually,
gagging.
yeah, we were singing Riptide and there's a line in that song that says there's a frog in my throat or something like that. And I fully choked on a fly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. But I haven't had too many embarrassing situations.
What was
thankfully?
Pete's?
Peter's was gold. So I almost forgot about this. I'm so glad I remembered. So he told me the morning of that wedding that he'd discovered this great new hack about how to I can't even get through it. How to keep his shirt tucked into his pants.
Oh, I know this hack.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
How to keep his shirt tucked
So
in.
he has this problem when he's wearing his. So nowadays he'll go to the wedding in casual clothes to set up because he'll get a bit sweaty, and then he'll change into his nicer clothes for the wedding. This is back in the day before he got changed at the wedding. So he was wearing his nice shirt with his nice pants, and he'd always have this problem that the shirt would come untucked from the pants. I can't look at you, Dana.
I know, because I know where this is going.
Tell me. And so
I've had this issue happen to me before.
yes, he said, I found this great new hack. You tuck your shirt into your underwear.
Okay.
And then it stays there because the underwear's a bit tighter than the pants. And so he was loving that he'd discovered this, and he's setting up, and I think we'd done like the whole wedding. We got to the end of the wedding. His shirt was still tucked in. And I was like, I can fully see your underwear.
Yeah, because the underwear just like started kind of coming higher. In fact, what actually happened was I didn't say it at the start of the wedding. I proudly said at the end of the wedding,
Oh, okay.
I figured out how to keep my
okay.
shirt tucked. Do you know how I did it? And
You're
she's
like,
like,
I could see how you
yeah,
did
yep.
it. Your underwear
I
is
think
like
I know.
exposed.
Yeah.
How high was his underwear at that
pretty,
point?
like,
Did you not
high
have a
enough to be
wedgie?
like-
Was that uncomfortable?
High enough.
I can imagine you having like lime green underwear or something.
Something
Oh
a bit
my
funny,
God.
right?
Yeah.
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 Anyway, that's a good one. I'll always remember that.
Tell us about, do you guys get fed? Do you need to get fed? Like talk to us about that.
Yes, we
It's important for couples to know.
Definitely. We definitely need to get fed. And, if you have an 8-piece band, everyone needs to get fed. And the reason for that is because
Because we need food.
we need food.
To
We need
survive.
energy.
sustenance.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We need sustenance. And so do all of the suppliers, as you know. But I think, you were saying with the band, you would have several people there. Do they all need to be
Yeah.
fed? And I think performers in particular, we're bringing a certain energy, and
Yeah.
if we're really hungry, it's
Yeah.
really hard to bring that energy. I've certainly been through times where I've felt like very faint, and
Yeah.
it's hard to draw on energy to perform and to, we're entertainment. So
Yeah.
You know what? It's actually a good question though, because if you're getting married, most of the time it's the first time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of people don't
don't
realize
know.
that they might think musicians pack their own lunch like a tradie. Like
Yeah.
they probably don't. Some people probably don't even realize that they have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's totally okay. I think
you
It's
need
just
time
an
as well.
oversight,
And I
Yeah.
mean, we will bring like, some cheeky little snacks because,
Yeah.
you don't have to provide us with food throughout the entire day. We're there for
No.
a very long time. But having that meal at the dinner
Yeah.
time is very much
Important.
appreciated. And it
Yeah.
helps us continue to do what we do.
yeah. I think
And not pass out while you're doing it.
Yeah. I think particularly for a band, if you've just got a band for the reception, people might think, oh, well, they're only there from, 6:30 till 11:30 or something. They can have
Yeah.
dinner before, which might be true, but we get there with a band, 2 hours
2 hours
before.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the setup.
So
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get there earlier because of the ceremony.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
so-
often there for the full day.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely
Yeah.
being fed is
And I
definitely
suppose you
important.
guys are playing when dinner is being served, so
Yeah.
that's something that that couples will need to factor in. And they just need to talk to obviously their venue, their venue coordinator or their caterer about when is a good time to do that. And you guys obviously would play some kind of music on either a playlist or if there's a DJ in between. Anyway,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that leads into some of our most frequently asked
Yes.
questions. And one of those is what happens when you're not playing live.
Yeah.
We'll always provide background music during our set breaks. Another important question which kind of plays into that is people will often have multiple setups throughout the day. So there's ceremonies in one location, canapes is in another, and then reception is in might be inside or something. And people ask, how much time do we need to allow for moving? We have enough equipment personally to set up in multiple locations at once, so the transition is really smooth. And any time that we are moving from one location to the next where guests might still be outside and we're moving inside, we play background music during that time, so Spotify, and that's all managed by us. You don't need to think about that.
But I will say that, you can't expect us to finish over there and start here like
Within
at the same
seconds.
time, and also like particularly a vocalist really does need to be kind to themselves when they're singing a big day. If they've just gone and moved all this equipment, they might just need to take a little breather to, come back with power for the next set. So you might expect some background music for a bit of relocation. I would just say don't expect that music, that live music to, be starting straight away for the move.
Yeah, breaks are really important, and that is for the reason that live music is people, like we're performing and that takes energy and particularly for a vocalist, that's a lot for one day. And so breaks are very important, but we do look after the music in between as well.
It might be good for the couples to tell you where you could have a break, a designated area, so you don't have to sit in a portaloo with your pants up.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But it is important, and, our musicians, because they're professionals, they know what they need. But particularly vocalists, it's quite important that they're able to go somewhere a little quieter where they don't have to raise their voice to speak with random guests and, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Their breaks are a time to rest their voice, not to keep talking and, like using their voice.
As much as I do love interacting with the guests, and I genuinely mean that. I love chatting with the guests, but I think it's important to recognise when you do need a vocal break, and often especially in a reception environment, it can get quite loud and people are talking over the top of each other.
Yeah, so you just need to go and sit somewhere quiet. And just,
and I think that would go for most suppliers. Like, it's a long day on your feet, and you just need some time away so that you can come back and continue to do your best. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people also ask as well, which we have answered, but, do you learn the songs? And the answer is yes, like Chelsea has said, because those songs are special and unique to you. It's definitely something we offer as well.
Yeah. I send our song list. So whichever vocalist you pick, they each have a song list, which is available on our website as well. So you can look at that before you even book them. I'll send out a song list, and like we've both said, we're more than happy to learn new songs for those key special moments. They can be any songs, and we'll talk about that and make it a bit more of a collaborative experience, I suppose. But I definitely encourage people to trust their musicians with the rest of the song list. As soon as you start picking certain songs, cutting out a lot of songs, you're really limiting their ability to be able to do what they do best. And so, definitely trust your musicians in that sense.
So thank you guys so much for your time today. We've really appreciated you having you on.
Thank you.
It's been so fun and enlightening. There's so much I've learned actually about having music at a wedding. So it's really, really good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
So if you are listening and you would like to know where to find out more about Him and Her Music, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They are Him and Her Music. And then you can also find them on their website, www.himandhermusic.com. If you have any questions that you would like to ask us, you can DM us on Instagram, or you can email us contact@theweddingeditpodcast.com.au.
If you're loving listening to our podcast, we would love for you to give us a little review. You can do that on Apple or Spotify.